What'd you do when you heard it?
I sat there in the edit room with my partners, Mark and Zach, and we just sort of shook our heads. And it took a while to really understand the impact of it. It was so chilling to hear it. It was disturbing to hear it.
When did you learn that the filmmakers had actually turned over their interview with Robert Durst to law enforcement in LA?
Well, I figured they probably would, and I don't know when they did it.
Imagine you have a net worth of $65 million and you could possibly buy anything in the world and live a very luxurious life. But instead, despite having such enormous wealth, you become a convicted murderer who would spend the rest of his life behind bars. And we're not talking about some ordinary man here, but Robert Alan Durst, a guy so notorious that he got his own Netflix show dedicated to his misdeeds. But the question is, how did he manage to get his hands on such wealth? And how did he evade police for approximately 20 years before he was finally convicted? Let's find out. Born on April 12, 1943 in New York City, Robert Alan Durst was the oldest child of Seymour Durst, a wealthy real estate magnate. Growing up, he became fascinated with economics, leading him to attend Lehigh University to study the subject. After graduating in 1965, he headed to the University of California, Los Angeles, where he crossed paths with Susan Berman, the daughter of a mobster, and that's what marked the beginning of his heinous crimes. Susan played a pivotal role in Robert's life, maintaining a cherished friendship despite their deep connection. However, upon returning from a trip to Los Angeles, Robert found himself back in his hometown of New York, where he encountered Kathleen McCormick, a dental hygienist. In 1973, as their bond deepened, their friendship turned into love, so they decided to tie the knot and marry each other. Following their marriage, rumors circulated about Robert's alleged violent and controlled behavior towards Kathleen. These whispers turned into accusations as the years passed, continuing for more than 6 years. Then on January 31, 1992, tragedy struck. Just months before Kathleen was due to graduate from medical school, she disappeared without a trace. But what astonished many was Robert's delayed response. He claimed to have dropped her off at the Katona train station after a weekend at their lakeside home in South Salem, yet he didn't report her missing until 4 days later on February the 5th.
Did you kill Susan Berman?
No.
Do you know who did?
No, I do not.
If in fact you had killed her, would you tell us?
No.
You're pathetic and all this was unnecessary, you idiot.
An investigation team was launched to dig into Kathleen's disappearance, but they hit a dead end as no clues turned up. Robert denied any role in her vanishing, and with no evidence pointing his way, the case eventually went cold. But then came the twist. Susan Berman, daughter of a mobster and Robert's close friend, became his unofficial spokesperson during the media storm around the case, adding another layer to the mystery. Life seemed to be progressing smoothly for Robert as he remained active in the family real estate business until 1994. However, his aspirations to inherit the family legacy were crushed when he was overlooked as his father's successor. Despite this setback, Robert's wealth was not as apparent as many believed, with the true extent of his fortune only becoming clear later on. Over the next 6 years, from 1994 to 2000, Robert's business ventures took him across various states in the USA. In 2000, he remarried another woman. Yet just as he started on this new chapter, news of Kathleen's case resurfaced, forcing him to take a quick action. Robert relocated to Galveston, Texas, where he disguised himself as a mute woman living quietly in an inexpensive apartment. Just as Susan Berman, Robert's friend and the unofficial spokesperson for Kathleen's case, was set to be interviewed again regarding the reopening of the case, another tragedy struck. Susan Berman was fatally shot. This time, the investigation team had a single lead. On the day of her murder, police received a note indicating that a body would be discovered at Susan's address. Strangely, the address was misspelled as Beverly Hills.
There have been many other times where your lawyers have told you what you should do and you pretty much have done what you want to do, right?
Except for the thing with Andrew Jarecki. I tend to do what my lawyers ask me to do.
Once more, no evidence tied Robert to the tragedies involving Kathleen and Susan. He carried on with his life in Galveston until September the 28th, 2001, when he found his 71-year-old neighbor, Morris Black, in his apartment watching television. Despite being friends, Robert claimed he felt threatened as Morris had pointed a gun at him, leading to a struggle that ended with Morris shot dead. Worried about being accused of murder, Robert confessed to dismembering Morris's body and dumping the parts in Galveston. He got arrested but fled to Pennsylvania while on bail. After a 6-week manhunt, he was once again caught committing a crime, but a low-profile one: shoplifting. In 2003, he faced trial for murder, claiming self-defense, and was acquitted, but he later admitted to lesser charges, serving nearly 6 months in prison in 2005. After release, he broke parole, landing another 26 days in jail. The chaos dragged on for months until Robert was finally cleared of all charges. However, the murders of Susan Berman and the disappearance of Kathleen remained unsolved mysteries. Adding another layer of complexity, in 2006, Durst reportedly received a hefty $65 million settlement from a lawsuit he filed concerning his share of the family wealth. This windfall significantly boosted his financial standing.
There it is. Your court. You're right, of course.
Years passed and the cases grew cold until documentarians Andrew Jarecki and Mark Smelling revived interest. They approached Robert for interviews, intending to create a series about him. Meetings took place in 2010 and 2012, agreeing on an agreement for Robert to participate in the series, which would later air on HBO. During filming, Robert made an indicating whisper about being aware of it. Though the cameras and lights were turned off, the microphone remained on, capturing his haunted words. "What did I do? I killed them all, of course."
What the hell did I do? Kill them all, of course.
The filmmakers said they didn't become aware of this footage until some 2 years later. They also uncovered other evidence, including a letter from Durst to Berman, in which Beverly was misspelt in the same way as in the letter sent to police in 2000. The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst, premiered on HBO in February 2015. The night before the last episode aired on March the 15th, Durst was arrested for Berman's murder. He was apprehended in a New Orleans hotel where he had registered under an assumed name. At the time, he was in possession of a gun, which was illegal given that he was a felon. In 2016, Durst pled guilty to weapons charges and was sentenced to 85 months in a prison in California. In November 2016, Durst appeared at an arraignment hearing in Los Angeles where he pleaded not guilty to murdering Berman. 2 years later, a judge ordered Durst to stand trial after determining that there was sufficient evidence against him. In 2021, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Shortly thereafter, New York officials charged Durst with murdering his first wife, Kathleen McCormick, who had been declared legally dead in 2017. However, Durst died due to a heart attack in 2022 in San Joaquin General Hospital in Stockton, California, before that case could go to trial. So, what's your take? Did he truly commit the murder of his wife Kathleen, or could she still be out there, hidden somewhere in this vast world? Or perhaps would he have escaped justice if he hadn't confessed? If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more fascinating topics like this, click on the video that's popping up on your screen. Until then, take care and goodbye.